Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Hello and welcome to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center right here in Tempe, Arizona, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. I'm super excited about today's conversation. We have a full house here in the studio today, and we have Shasta Broadus. Did I pronounce that correctly? To thank for this. Shasta is the one who reached out, I believe, or maybe Daryl reached out to you. Shasta is the CEO with Capital Stewardship, and you were the one who said, I know the exact crew that I want to bring with me today, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Absolutely.
So if you could take a moment to introduce yourself and who is or what is Capital Stewardship, and then we'll do a deeper dive after we have a chance to meet and hear from everybody else.
Absolutely. Thanks, Karen. So I'm Shasta Broadus, CEO and founder of Capital Stewardship, a personal and professional business development organization that's geared towards helping CEO and founders be better stewards of their capital. So personal and professional development for people who want to be better so that we can have better businesses.
Stewardship. Why that word?
Because that's what we're here to do. Be better stewards, and take care of our community and be helpers, and servants.
Yep. And the money piece of it, that's equally important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because that's how we are able to sustain.
I know it seems kind of like a no-brainer.
Yes.
And yet, if you notice the banner behind you, one of our sponsors is Conscious Capitalism. And people say that those two words they're kind of like, they don't coexist. They don't coexist. And you and I know that they absolutely have to coexist, right?
Absolutely.
Capitalism is and can be a force for good. Has it always been? No. But I love that you've shared that. So great opening and wonderful introduction. And I'm so looking forward to our conversation and finding out all the incredible things that you all have going on. So we have Vadas like Goddess. I love it. Across from you or next to you. And she is the author of Healing Wings Ministries. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
We had about 3 to 5 minutes in the green room before everybody arrived, and I walked away so I could go finish my salad and use the restroom before we came live. And I said as I was walking away, we were fast friends in just that very brief conversation. Yes. So I feel like I already know you, and I know nothing about you. So please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your book and the work you do.
Okay. My name is Vadas, and my husband David and I are founders of Healing Wings Ministries and Publishing. And my very first book is coming out soon, and we are going to be having our book launch party on November 19th. And so the title of the book is called Vessel of Light. And so basically, we've all had some sort of darkness in our lives, things that are bad that may have happened to us or whatever. But when we're wounded and we heal from that, and we have the light in us, then we can shine it out to the dark world. So that's what we do, is we shine light into darkness of the world.
Now I understand why we were fast friends. Fantastic. And how did you connect with Shasta?
Actually through a mutual friend that was having a birthday party.
I love that.
And so it was a divine appointment. I had asked her and Dr. Nancy for directions to the party. And then later on, when I got home, I saw a post on Facebook by Dr. Nancy. And I was like, oh, I'm friends with her on Facebook. And I just talked to her and didn't realize that's who it was. And her and Shasta were together. So then I reached out to her and she reached back. And then before you know it, here we are. We're part of the club. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Well, I love the introduction and the way in which you connect with Shasta. And Dr. Nancy is over to your side. So Dr. Nancy Gaines Dillard, welcome to the studio. Dr. Nancy is the CEO and president of Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be here.
Well, thank you, Karen. And the common denominator in this room is Shasta Broadus. Yeah. She is something that I stand for and believe in. And she works with me each and every day as a CEO and entrepreneur to be better stewards of my dollars and consciously think about, how I'm delivering my message. And so you can never feel like you've arrived and you know it all, because self-improvement and self-awareness is key to growing healthy relationships constantly. So Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine is a medical practice that practices traditional and non-traditional medicine. So holistic, integrative. I work with peptides, ozone therapy, stem cells, and traditionally as well. I'm licensed in 12 states. I do telemedicine. So I'm a different kind of doctor, and I have an
You're my kind of
enterprise
doctor.
that aligns with all things wellness. I mean, there's so many different layers to what I do, but it really comes from my willingness to be an advocate for the patient population that I service and beyond.
Great
Who
introduction.
can support that?
Right. Who can't support that? Wow. I had several questions going through my mind. I'm going to hold off on those because I want to meet this woman to my right, Chianti Palmer. I think when we said, hey, do a test, Mike, and she announced her name, it was like we were already on air. Have you done this kind of thing before? You've done interviews before?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you have. So Chianti Palmer is the Chief Executive Officer with Keys Community. Please tell us a little bit about you and Keys.
Well, again, my name is Chianti Palmer.
Oh, listen, that paled in comparison. I want to hear it like the on-air button is really on.
And I have been in the field of behavioral health for the past 15 years. And my love for helping people is what drives me. I want to be very innovative in what I do. I do not want to be like anyone else. And so the services that I offer they look different. They feel different. They're very helpful to our community and for the betterment of the community. And that's who I serve. I serve our community because I want to empower them. And so Chianti Palmer, I'm going to keep saying that name.
Do. I'm going to start saying, I'm going to wake up in the morning with Chianti Palmer on my brain.
Is here to give back to the community, empowerment, financial literacy, what I say, capital stewardship. So
Yes.
financial literacy and capital stewardship. And I like to thank Shasta because actually she opens your eyes to a lot of things that you do not
She
see.
does.
We've literally just met as you walked in the
Yes.
door before we put the headsets on. I already can sense that about her. Wow. So how did you two connect then? It's been a while? Oh, there's another good story. Maybe even a funnier one.
So I met Shasta 2018.
Probably about that time on social media, online,
Yeah.
on
Yes,
Facebook.
on Facebook. We went to an event together and was kind of like we matched
vibe.
energy.
Mhm,
Our
Yeah.
energy
mhm, we
was
vibe.
great.
Well, we're Libra sisters. Our birthdays are coming up. We're a day apart.
What?
That's
That's amazing. Some of the neatest connections and now deep friendships for me have come through social media, both LinkedIn and Facebook. And people like Facebook, I'm like, listen, my tribe is there. My high school friends, my childhood friends, my family, my work buddies, my college sisters. And then, of course, all the people who've kind of come alongside with us. We've had some of these really cool connections and have formed business alliances and collaborations and communities. So I love that you celebrated that.
Yeah, I love it. I'm all about collaborations. I'm all about communities and growing people. And through mentorship is where I thrive.
Oh my gosh, so good. So I'm going to say a word about our microphones real quick so I don't have to be kind of thinking about this to myself. If you guys don't mind pulling your microphones towards you a little bit closer, they are very directional. So you want to stay up on the mic. So you and I kind of have a weird position, Chianti, because we keep looking at each other. If you'll just swing on that mic if you want to look at me. Otherwise, I won't be embarrassed or feel sad if you don't look at me and you're still talking to me. That way, our listeners on LinkedIn, YouTube, and of course on Business Radio X will catch every word that you have to say. I'm also going to say to our audience that I'm sitting on a box, a plastic Tupperware box that just went burp because the chair that I'm at, we have such a full house. I'm on a different chair. And when I sat down, I could tell, I could barely see over the table. So if you see me shrinking, you know why. It was a makeshift morning to make sure that we had room for everybody. All right.
Appreciate it.
I digress. Here we go. You mentioned before we went live that everybody has an event coming up and some really special things going on. So I'd like us to focus on that. I know you mentioned briefly that you have your book launch coming up. Do you yourself have an event, or is your role simply just to promote everybody else? Tell me a little bit more about how you fit into this picture, where you see your role with these three business owners specifically, and then also give a shout out to whatever you have coming up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So these are all my clients. I represent all of their brands. So I'm a brand manager.
Got it.
That's pretty much how I'm building out my organization, and I'm helping them to build their teams. So they're getting ready to get into the marketplace, and we want to make sure that their business is set up properly, before they start doing business and want to do bigger business. So we are looking for corporate sponsorships and partnerships. And so we're hosting events so that they can know what we're doing in the community and so that they can know how to support us. So I have an event October 29th. That's my elite soiree, the Networkers Ball. And so my business development organization is exclusive networking to help business owners become better networkers. Vadas has an event November 12th. Dr. Nancy actually has an event October 19th. It's her birthday too. She's another one of my Libra sisters. She's another one of my Libra sisters. So she's having a wine tasting to celebrate her birthday, and Family Matters, her nonprofit organization that I support wholeheartedly, to raise funds and get people knowing what she's about. And then Chianti, she's having a birthday as well, turning 40. And she also has an event coming up, a Who's Who's networking event, December 3rd. To get people to know what Keys Community is doing and see how they can partner.
Okay, are all of these events open to public? And obviously the idea to network is let's broaden our circle.
Yes, correct.
So good. Okay. Tickety dog, and happy birthday celebrations. I was just talking with Kelly Lorenzen, who is her company's called Duplicate Myself. And so I just do the brain dumps with her, and she helps make sense out of what's going on up here. And then she puts it into action, and she's my project manager. Just this morning over coffee, we were talking about how my birthday's coming up in December. I'm older than 40 by 18 years, but also want to do a birthday celebration. So I love that you're doing. When we get to a place in our life and we're proud and excited about what we're doing and how we're being of service, I think it's really okay, maybe more than okay, to say, hey, it's my birthday. If you want to come play with us and celebrate with us, let's do it. And here's our cause, and here's what we're focusing on. So with that, I'd love to ask Dr. Nancy to talk a little bit about Family Matters and why that's important to you.
Yes, because family is everything. The family unit. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're blood related. It can be really energy related, and you vibe and you connect because the souls have been out there, right? And then when they finally connect and the human bodies connect, that's how come you feel like you've known each other for a long time and you just met each other.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I truly believe in that. And, when I went through medical school, I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I kept it broad. I love all spectrums of life, infancy to elderly. And why would my nonprofit be any different? Family Matters.
Yes.
I know that there's a lot of nonprofits that are really passionate about one thing for whatever reason. It could have been something that was traumatic that happened in their life, or something actually very good. And they just really wanted to hone in on that and bring everybody in from a nonprofit standpoint. But when it comes to family, I grew up in a large family unit, and I have a lot of experience, and I feel as though my word needs to be heard, and to bring more awareness that I can help a lot of different people from all walks of life, all age groups as well. So if it's simply put to after school programs, financial literacy, because they don't learn finances in school, battered women going back into the work industry, after empty nester syndrome, or even if it's individuals that are out of high school and they don't really know what next direction to go into, because then I parlay my two other businesses, Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, for individuals to come shadow me, or my other nonprofit, Dr. Nancy's Medical Training Academy. I have an apprenticeship with that program, medical assistant and medical secretary. So these are those individuals that feel like day-to-day school book work, traditional way of learning isn't for them, and they're more hands-on. And so that's another way that I can reach individuals. And then I'm very passionate about CPR. I think everybody needs to know CPR, not just the medical persons or the first responders. You walk into your bank. Wouldn't it be great if you had a sign on the doors to say all of our personnel are CPR certified? That's so self-reassuring. Restaurateurs, cleaners, I mean, it's
we never know
endless.
when it's going to be necessary.
That's right. When you need to help somebody.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, I have been certified 4 years, and I definitely need to go do a refresher, because if something were to happen, I don't know that it would all come back to me. So it's time to renew. Thank you
Yes.
for that reminder.
Absolutely. So Shasta brought us is in my life to organize it a little bit, because I do so many things.
Right.
I'm very dynamic. I'm in media as well. I have a talk show, Dr. Nancy Knows. It's in its 3rd season. And
Where
then
does that air?
it's everywhere. It's
Okay.
on Roku, Amazon. It has its own YouTube, Facebook, Instagram page. I'm on Local Gab, locals.com, Gab, and they're all podcasted as well. So Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, Apple,
Excellent.
Dr. Nancy Knows. So yeah, absolutely. I am a brand, but it's not for me, although everything has Dr. Nancy on it, but I am for the people.
Yep.
And I'm
That's
here
right.
to let you know that, listen, if you have to use my name to get your point across, by all means do that, because I'm here to advocate for you.
That's
awesome.
powerful.
Yeah,
Powerful.
it is. Very powerful.
I'm going to put you on the spot. How well dialed in was what you just shared with us? I know it was from the heart. It didn't sound like it was scripted at all. And at the same time, I do several things as well. And I've struggled with messaging, especially when we have our hands and our heart in so many things. How has Shasta played a role in helping you do that? And it's Shasta. I think I changed the way I pronounced it. My apologies. But was there room for her to help you, or did you come in gunslinging and like, I already got this down?
Oh, so it's just like what I said. You know, you're at the top and you think you've arrived and you stop growing, then that is just such a big mistake.
Yes.
So you want
Yes.
to absolutely keep yourself open to grow and to be self-aware. And so Shasta is my conscience, right? She just lets me know that, hey, okay, let's do it this way. She comes into your business and does a bird's eye view and say, all right, I can just work with you because you've got a lot going on and I like that. And I can see and I believe in your vision. Let's do this thing, right? So full transparency. You have to have trust and vulnerability and humility.
That's true.
So that you can hear what your guide and coach and mentor is
Yes.
saying to you.
Because if you want to grow,
Yes.
it is impossible if you don't allow yourself to be open.
Perfect. There's a saying, well, I've heard it in many different settings, something like, right, God or the universe. The moment that we think we have it all together, the cosmic joke is, oh, no, you don't.
That's right.
Strap on your seatbelt. Let me show you. And I've had that happen to me several times in my lifetime. So now I just keep saying I'm still learning and growing. Yeah, excellent.
So listen, I thought initially I could handle it all. And for so many years I have been. But God has just been blessing me with more and more. And I'm like, okay, I need help.
Yes.
Absolutely. I need help.
And being able to surrender to that need is equally important to the humility. Yeah,
That's exactly
is.
right. Constructive criticism sometimes a little hard to take.
especially when we don't feel like it's constructive, even though it could be delivered that way. We're like, what are you talking about?
That's right.
Daryl, our producer, who's been with me just over a year, I've been doing this a lot lately. You know, it's sincere. I have had to learn and grow and slow my roll when Daryl came on board with us, because I was doing this all by myself for about a year and a half. And I've run teams as large as 200 people at a time, but this was just he and I, and this is my baby. And I have learned so much from him and had to commit in it with great humility. And then, of course, his growth has been just through the moon. I had to check myself many times. And if I wasn't checking myself, he was checking me for me. And I'm deeply appreciative. All right, Vadas, tell us a little bit more about the Vessel of Light.
Well, Vessel of Light actually originated from a compilation of my journals during my inner healing journey.
Fascinating.
And it started 16 years ago. And I came from an extremely abusive childhood, including sexual abuse, neglectful. I lost a kidney from being neglected. And so, and I've been through electrocution and all kinds of crazy things. And I was so broken, and I was wallowing in self-pity all the time. Poor me, why me? And I didn't understand why I'd been through so much. And then I was in a very dysfunctional marriage for 27 years. And so all that brokenness, I didn't know what to do with it, but God did. And so when I would tell my stories, people would encourage me, hey, are you writing a book? Because people need to hear this stuff.
Mhm.
They need to be encouraged. They need hope that if you've come through this and you've healed, and I am healed, I'm a whole woman now. Now, I'm not saying I don't sometimes have PTSD if someone sneaks up behind me and scares the bejesus out of me and they might get, punched or something. But I am a healed and whole person. And so what I do in my book is I'm just very raw about things that I've been through, because I feel like that people need to connect with the genuineness of my story, and that if they can connect somehow with what I've come through, if they are broken, that they'll see the light that I have now shining through my stories, and that somehow it'll penetrate their woundedness and their darkness and help bring them into the light. And so that's my goal, is to help people who are wounded, whether it be male, female, young, old, it doesn't matter. We all have a story. And I think that we should tell our stories because it does offer hope to people. My vision is if I can just give someone hope, then maybe they can make it through their terrible day. When I was teaching, I ran into, I like to do these little Vadas-isms. So I come up with these little quotes, and one of them is make eye contact because people need to know they are worthy of your attention. And so when I was teaching and walking down to my car one afternoon, I saw this beautiful teenage girl, 17 years old, and her and her sister were blocking the walkway. And I said, oh, how are y'all doing? And they're like, fine. And I said, oh, excuse me. And they parted and let me walk by. And I looked at just the one in the eyes when I spoke. And I said, well, thank you so much for letting me pass. I said, y'all have a blessed day. Well, the next day I was on lunchroom duty, and this same girl that I had made eye contact with, she's looking around, and I'm like, oh, she must be looking for one of her friends. And when she caught my eyes, she came straight to me. And I could tell she was troubled and needed to talk, but she wasn't able to talk about whatever was troubling her. And so I said, well, why don't you just write me a letter? And I said, so whatever's troubling you, when you write about it, it helps let the pain out. And then you don't even have to give it to me if you don't want to. Keep it and read it out loud, because saying it out loud also lets some of the pain out. But if you want to give it to me, I'll be happy to read it, and it'll be confidential. And so she's like, okay, excuse me, I need a drink of water. So I always left my windows cracked a little bit. And when I went to my car that evening, you know how the young people take a piece of paper and they fold it like a football? It was in my front seat. And when I opened it up, there were 3 pages, and they got cloudier and cloudier. The evening that she met me, she planned on going home and committing suicide because she was raped by a family friend and impregnated by that rape, and she didn't know how to handle it. She was estranged from her mother. She and her sister didn't get along. There was no father in the picture. And she said, but when I looked her in the eyes, that she no longer felt invisible. And she said, when I said, have a blessed day, she remembered when she used to go to church. And she said, it just gave me hope that maybe I can hold on one more day. And maybe I can see this teacher again tomorrow. And so the simplest little thing, just a smile or wishing someone to have a blessed day, can change a life, can save a life, can save a soul. And see, that's what my book is all about, is to offer that kind of hope and bring that kind of light into someone else's life, because the things that I've gone through, it's never been about me, poor Valerie, poor Vadas. It's only been about how that I can take the things I've come through and shine that light into someone else's darkness and give them that little ray of hope that they need. If each one of us could just reach one, man, our lives aren't in vain, right?
That seems to be the theme. Dr. Nancy kicked it off with that. And I'm going to share, if I can, a little bit briefly about my story because Vadas, you shared something and you mentioned it as well when you're introducing yourself, right? We're here to make a difference.
We are.
And we're here to use our name and our success and our intellect, our beauty, our wisdom, whatever it is. And we're here to use our story
Yes.
to help others. So we've all just met, so you're not familiar, but some of our listeners will know that in 2019, my then husband attempted suicide and survived a gunshot wound through his head.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Still with
That's
us
so
today
painful.
with his family in another state. And we have a 15-year-old together. And it'll be 3 years the end of this month.
Mm.
And I woke up the third day while he was in TQ, and God literally said to me as I woke up, you are going to share this story as it's happening.
Oh.
And I, like you, and I think I'm getting the sense that all four of you are similar. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Mhm.
I speak to what's happening. I've had postpartum
Yes.
depression when my older two were young. And if I'm having a crap week or I'm having difficulty or I'm being challenged in my faith, I'm going to speak to it and share it, which is why social media has been so special to me because that's where my community has gravitated toward me. And I'm sharing this because I was called to share my story. And I have many people who have shared with me in confidence that I've saved their lives or I've saved the life of somebody else because they went to go get help that they needed. Here's why I'm sharing this today. Because normally, I did for a while, but normally I don't. Yesterday, I received a private message on LinkedIn from a high school classmate who I blocked on every other social media platform because it became very toxic and on my phone, but LinkedIn I left open. And out of nowhere, after not hearing from this person for quite a while, this is what she said. Out of nowhere, I find it very interesting that you have shared that I caused too much drama in our high school reunion group, which I didn't directly say. She's owning it and probably should. However, aren't you the one who posted daily about your husband's attempted suicide, his ultimate death, you divorcing him, and you and your son's pain? Give me a break. Isn't that being a bit dramatic? If that's not, what is? So, and the reason I'm sharing this, because I want to hear your story and what you've got coming up. And I feel like it resonates when we put ourselves out there. We use all the gifts we've been given.
Yes.
And we're willing to risk sharing our story and our pain. There are going to be naysayers.
Yes.
There are going to be people who are going to look for the shadow within us and say, you're a fraud. You're not who you say you are. Yeah. Or in my case, and I came back and I said, hey, I'm not sure what your agenda is here, but I can assure you that attempting to attack me is not a smart move. We barely know each other. You have no idea what I've been through or who I am. The reunion drama was just too much for me, so I chose to step away. It's not personal. And then before I blocked her finally on LinkedIn, she says, I'm just saying, sorry, I feel like this is important. I'm just saying you're a hypocrite. Saying that I'm causing drama when you disclose your entire personal life on Facebook for the whole world to see. Get over yourself.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this isn't about making her wrong. Not at all.
Yeah. No.
I'm really at peace with that. I said, hey, I'm done with this, and I wish you well, and I prayed for her, and I will continue to pray for her. And when we are visible and we people know who we are, we have a talk show or we do interviews and we put ourselves in leadership roles, the bigger our group and our sphere gets, which is all of our goals, right? We want to help more people. We want to be stewards of light and love. Right. We also are, we succumb to more attacks.
Yes.
I'm curious, and then I want to hear from this beautiful person. How do y'all handle that? And have you, I don't know that we have time for everybody's story, but have you experienced someone where they're looking in your face and they're saying, you're a joke? Yeah.
Let Keontae talk about it.
I know, huh?
First, you have to decompress so you don't retaliate in anger.
Yes, and the more personal growth work that we do, and the more we have people like this in our lives, the quicker, at least my experience has been, the quicker I can decompress. I was in a good place maybe 7 minutes after I received that. At first, I was like, shock.
I know, right?
And then I went, this isn't yours.
Right.
Shut it, leave it, pray for her.
Don't carry it.
And step away.
Yes, absolutely.
You have some experience such as mine?
Yes. I had someone try to tear my whole character down. And it took me a longer period of time to actually overcome it and deal with it. I was actually going through depression at the time. And I didn't realize what that looked like for me.
Mm.
I'm good at helping other people, but I was not good at helping myself. And when people, narcissists,
Yes.
people,
Mm.
and you have them in your bubble, your circle, and you're vulnerable,
Mhm.
they will
Mhm.
prey on that
Not
vulnerability.
PRAY, PREY.
That's right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just in
Yes,
case.
just in- yeah.
They will. Mhm.
And so I had to learn how to overcome. I had to reach out to friends. I had to, and very few, my business friends, had to reach out to my business friends and get advice on how to move forward and not let that affect me. Because again, my business, I have over 20 employees. And so I care about them and their families as well. Not only them and their families, the people that I serve and how
Yes.
that looks for me.
Mhm.
Yes.
I have my own goals and agenda in life. And
Mhm.
so that was out the window for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I confronted it head on. At first, it was more like a why? And I'm angry.
Yes.
The
Yes,
initial,
definitely.
the second time it
Mhm.
was, okay, let me calm down. That was the why.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
the third time was, that's just not me. So I'm not going to let it bother me.
That's right.
But it took me months to actually
Go through the process.
go through the process of not letting it control me.
And you did, right? There for our listeners, I'm guessing there's at least one or two listeners who maybe are in that space where they've let somebody else cloud or jade what their passion and purpose is in life. And some people go to the grave with that impacting them in a negative way. So whether it's months, days, hours, years, at any moment, you can shift it, which is what all of us are in unison about. I'm curious about Dr. Nancy because I have no doubt that you have some ideas and thoughts and even maybe some experience around this. Would you care to share what's on your heart and mind?
I'm super strong, but that took time.
Yes.
And you really just have to be confident in who you are and own who you are and not carry anybody else's baggage. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen even still to this day, but I get better at recognizing it and sooner, just like you, Karen. And how I deal with it is I just share more love.
That's right.
I
You
mean,
have
I
to.
have Dr. Nancy Knows, and I resonated with Bodice. That talk show came at a period in the country's lives
Mm.
where there was suicide, depression, anxiety, and fear.
Mhm.
My talk show debuted October 2020 in the midst of COVID. And so what I do is I bring individuals that are experts in their field of industry to come on the show and give them our story, their
Yes.
story,
Yes.
Beautiful.
their story and how they overcame, who poured
Mhm.
into them,
That's right.
how are they giving back
Mhm.
in the community. It's everything that I stand for. And now I have my own media broadcasting network to cast my net wide. It's about building the kingdom in a
That's
positive
right.
way.
That's right.
NGC, Media Broadcasting Network, Nancy Gaines cares. I care. And so I don't talk about it at the end of the day. Talk.
Because you don't have to.
You have to put things
You
into action
do.
and just let people
Mhm.
see what you do, not always what you say.
Love does. Mhm.
Boundaries.
Mhm.
Go, girl, go.
That's what I learned. Boundaries.
Yeah,
Yes.
speak
I
to
think,
that.
yeah, I just think that, a lot of times as we're becoming adults and, we're trying to figure out our structure in life and how we fit into society, we're not really actually taught what actually works for us, And so as business people, we end up having to learn to do that, because our business is us. And I try to help, with the entrepreneurs that I work with know that we don't have all the money to be behind our brands. We have to stand in front of our brands, as
Mhm.
small business owners in the community. And so being out there in the community and letting people know, but also knowing how to time block and schedule your appointments and take that time for yourself and know who's for you and who's not for you.
Yes.
I created capital stewardship because I do want people to learn how to be better stewards of their capital. And that's their time, energy, and their essence, and people are being depleted because they don't know how to, to give.
How did you get started in this aspect of your professional life? I'm curious about your background because you've the girls alluded to it earlier. You've just got this vibe about you that comes. You know, most everybody's vibe is about here. Yours is up here.
Yeah, it is.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's so funny.
So what is the background? What led you to this work?
So I grew up in the financial services industry. You know, when I started my business, I was a client relationship manager with the Ameriprise. Shout out to Ken Edwins. He gave me a chance to work with him and learn more about finances and managing portfolios and strategies. And I became really interested in business succession planning. And I found that that's the reason why a lot of our businesses, as small businesses, don't last. And I want us, you know, as Americans, right? Because that's what we're all here. You know, if we're born here, we're Americans, and we need to represent our country and, you know, our businesses and be able to provide for each other, you know. And so that's pretty much how I started my business, being able to help people take care of their own house so that they can help other people, you know, in the right capacity.
And she's awesome at it.
I mean, and really it's just helping people think through their thoughts, you know, people. I had a show called Mind Your Business, and Karen, I am interested in bringing my podcast back, you know, to help people mind their business because it's important, you know, and they don't know what their business is, you know, and so not I'm trying to tell you what your business is, but, you know, helping them understand what their business is and how to pay attention to that so that they can get the results that they're looking for in their life. And so I have a psychology degree. I didn't want to be a therapist, but I did want to be a life coach. And I just feel as a business consultant, I kind of marries the two.
Oh, for sure.
You know, for me to be able to help people understand money, you know, and understand how they can, because everybody wants to make a lot of money, you know, and a lot of money looks different to everybody and success looks different to everybody. But figuring out what does success look like to you? You know, and helping you work that backwards so that you can impact the people that you're looking to impact.
And then holding them accountable in a loving, also every once in a while, I'm going to kick you in the butt way is what I'm gathering from what these women are saying. Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? I'm so nice. I'm just like, but I guess everybody has that point in time in their tone where it's just like, listen, I'm being serious now, you know, and I want us to get over the hump.
Yes.
You know, because that's what we're here to do. Like, and they push me too, you know, because I want to be better. And like I tell them all, like, your success is my success. You know, and we're all here to make each other look good, you know, and I want them to make my brand look good, just like I want, you know,
that's right,
my brand to make them look good.
Yeah.
And so we're spreading that message. I'm building a network. It will be an exclusive network because it's a culture, you know, and when you're building a culture, you have to keep it tight knit and you have to have certain processes in place so that people understand what they're becoming a part of. And
is the net casted wide right now, though, and you're going to tighten it up? Is that the idea?
Yes. So essentially, people have been working with me either as clients or business partners. So obviously, I can't do everything on my own, you know. So I have partners that I resource out to, you know, for them to get things done for me. But going into 2023, we will be closing out, you know, the network where if you want to come in, you're going to come in either as a client or still as a business partner. But there will be tiers to come in to get marketing exposure or business development because we're going to put people on the map. You know, we're going to launch businesses and we want you to do business good coming out of our camp.
So the Networkers Ball is October 29th, you said?
And I have an Eventbrite link. I can send you that if you don't mind sharing it with maybe
please
some
make sure that Daryl and Angie get it, and we'll include that in the podcast, the notes for the show notes.
Love to see you there.
I'm actually going to be in Pismo Beach.
Oh,
with a new man in the
I know that's
right. Awesome! Congratulations!
Thank you. Very excited. So I'm out. And yes,
well, there'll be
blushing.
More. There'll be
yes,
more.
I can't wait. And where is this going to be held, and how can people register? We'll give them the link. But right now, where do they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Shasta Broadus, LinkedIn, Shasta Broadus, under Instagram, Capital Stewardship. So my name, Shasta Broadus there. I'm very Googleable.
Very Googleable. Oh, I love
that word.
Yeah, you can Google me. You know, I have some good things there to share. Good. And yeah, I'm excited for these ladies and the things that we'll be doing here in the future.
So excited. Networkers Ball, Shasta Broadus, BROAD, US.
Like Shasta brought us together.
I love
is that your legit name?
Yeah, brought us.
That's incredible.
I'm gonna probably end up coining it as, you know, things grow. And, you know,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
And then you mentioned LinkedIn, of course, and then Facebook. Is it B Shasta B? Does that?
Yep.
B
that's
Shasta B.
Yeah, that's the little moniker they have you put up there. I put that up there.
Okay, excellent. And capitalstewardship.org.
Yeah.
thank you. We're not going anywhere yet. And I simply want to thank you again. This has been dynamic, and I appreciate your guys' willingness. Not that I gave you a choice, but you spurred for me an opportunity to be very candid about what's going on, because again, I think we can all relate.
We have to share.
We do. And really that is, and there's great risk in sharing to the degree that we talk about doing it. I'm going to Chianti next because I want to hear about your event. When is it again?
December 3rd.
Okay. I might be in town for that. Am I invited?
Absolutely.
Tell us about the event.
So I will let Shasta tell you about the event.
Because she's master planning it for you. Listen, if there's
I'm very, very honest.
But that's exactly
I'm not an event planner, but she's great.
Are you ready to talk about it? Because we don't have to go there.
Oh yeah, we can talk about it a little bit. We're gonna be.
This is what this is all about, though.
Yes.
Humility. And
Yes,
listen,
yes.
this is why I've got a tribe and a team. I'm not good at this. She is.
So I'm not an event planner or an event coordinator.
However,
I do have one. She's
She
great.
does, yes, she does.
And I will give her a shout out.
But I'm a strategist,
Very good.
and we strategized for her to do this event so that people can know more about Chianti and what she's doing with Keys Community.
Good.
So she has a foundation that she recently has launched and put together, Keys Community Foundation, and they have a bridge housing program that they're raising funds for so that they can provide more housing. And that's something that she can talk more about.
Okay, good. And listen, that's completely fine. In December,
Mhm.
and so obviously toward the end of the month, we'll be
Yes.
hearing more about it.
Yes.
Before you tell us about this bridge and your foundation, I want to make sure people know where to find you. keyscommunity.org, and on LinkedIn, Chianti, that's KYANTI-Palmer. And then Keys Community on Facebook and Twitter, which I could never wrap my brain around, and Instagram as well, Keys Community. So tell us about the foundation and then this idea with bridges and housing. Is that what I heard?
Yes. So I'm gonna go straight into the pillars.
Yeah.
Our pillars are health and wellness, family preservation and reunification, encouraging self-sufficiency and economic independence, community engagement, and education support. And all of those come with getting something from each. So as we know, we are talking about healthy Arizona across the board. We have more obesity than we have ever had. Thank you, COVID. And so what we're doing is collaborating with other individuals, agencies, small businesses, and giving more to the community through free basketball camps, football camps for kids, which will be in December.
Let's get active, right? Let's move our bodies.
We have to. And so we have a shoe drive. I believe that everybody should have a good pair of shoes.
That's right.
Because no matter what, we got to go somewhere. And honestly, kids are cruel. And so having a good pair of shoes so that you can go to school and feel comfortable about who you are,
Yeah,
it is a plus.
that's important.
We have a toy drive / ball drive. I say balls because football, basketball, volleyball, whatever kind of ball it is, it gets kids active. And I'm all about getting kids active because, of course, if you're playing the game all day, you're not thinking. And so you don't get a chance to really decompress or get that energy out. Kids have a lot of energy. And so I want them to be able to get that energy out. And it goes along with our health and wellness. Family preservation and unification is to improve the generational well-being of families through comprehensive health programs and preventative social services. And so it's people like Dr. Nancy that we could send somebody to, and they can get the help and services that they need. And Keys Community. Encouraging self-sufficiency and economic independence is bringing people in, as for instance, Shasta has came in and taught, financial literacy on a scale of just maybe through household. Okay, this is your household income and how to better use your finances to support what your goals are for your family. And that is so important. We also have, first-time home buyers once a month come in and teach that. credit building, and we're going to add to those, to what we're giving in our communities.
Beautiful.
And our last one is community engagement and educational supports. And it's to strengthen the entire family through provisions of comprehensive and collaborative services. And I'm really big on collaborations because, yes, I can't do it all,
No.
but together we can do anything we want.
Yes.
And even with just us women in here together, we can go beyond the sky.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a believer in that, and a feminist. And I just want to continue to push us as business owners to reach out, and it's okay, because you have to build a mastermind team, or your business can't thrive the way that you want it to thrive. We have to get out this mindset. It's me, 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 me,
That's
me,
right.
me. It can never be me, 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 me.
Right.
The richest people in the world need help. They didn't
That's
do
right.
that by themselves.
That's right.
They got people behind them that has done a lot. The people in the background, I'm gonna give it
Yes.
to them every single day.
Yeah, you were going to give a shout out to your event planner specifically.
Yes. And she's my event planner
Okay.
and EA. And she's great. Her name is Kenesha Cotton with Remix Concierge. And she does mocktail, so she has mobile bars, and she goes out everywhere. She does mocktails, she does event parties for corporations, small businesses, birthday parties, but she does an amazing job. And so you can find her on Facebook
Love it.
and look up Remix, REMIXXD Concierge.
Excellent. Oh, good. I'm glad we got that in.
That's awesome.
Like, woohoo. That's excellent. Dr. Nancy Gaines Dillard, Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine. Tell us about, you have your birthday celebration come up. A wine tasting? Is that what?
Well, I do. Thank you, Karen. My birthday is October 20th. And it's really not about me.
No.
I'm really great with my age. I'm okay with that. I often round up anyway too, so
Me
it's not
too.
even an issue. But doing something for the greater cause, because you're just a piece of the puzzle. You're just a small figure in the world. What are your footprints? What is your legacy? How do you want to be remembered? It's what you're doing now that
Yes.
carries forward. So we are having at my McDowell Mountain Ranch location, Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, October 19th from 5 to 7. It's going to be a wine tasting event and a way to come out to learn more about what Family Matters Healthcare Foundation is all about and up to in the community. And I'm pairing up with One Hope Wine. And all proceeds, or partial of the proceeds, that when individuals come in, if they want to buy wine, will go to Family Matters Healthcare Foundation. So, I'm always being open to creativity and other ways that we can help people and get the word out as well. And it's all about building relationships, because that takes a one-on-one type of effort.
Mhm.
You can't have somebody else build that for you.
That's right.
You have to show up every day and be present and intentional about what it is that you stand for and what you want to do. And so with Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine, I'm a different kind of doctor, and that's the type of marketing that I do, because I really want my patients to show up and be present and in the right mindset, because I'm just the catalyst to get them to the goals that they desire, but I can't do it for them.
Great. Wow. Dr. Nancy Knows at gmail.com is how folks can get in touch with you. And then on LinkedIn, it's Dr. NLGD. Is that right? Very good. And the website is where? Tell me what the website is.
I have multiple ones.
Of course you do. Is there one main one that they kind of feed into?
So it's a LinkedIn profile, has everything there.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So LinkedIn, excellent. And then Dr. Nancy's integrativemedicine.com as well. It would probably be a great place to connect with.
Absolutely. I do have one other little caveat to share, and it's just really recently on our plate, and I say it's our team. And it's just another way that I'm going to leave me and my team our mark in this world.
Mm.
And we just had an event at the AC Marriott on Biltmore, and it was a community economic development solutions event. And I'm in the real estate business now with my nonprofit Family Matters Healthcare Foundation.
Mhm.
And what that means is that I can now offer housing, transitional housing, through my nonprofit, the real estate, to offer supportive services like healthcare, like mentorship, financial literacy, like after school programs, Get Fit. So it's just another little caveat to the enterprise that I have been blessed to develop.
Mm.
Because God won't put any more on you than you can bear. And
Mhm.
He's given me the power to handle this because of, being a faithful servant,
Mhm.
and not letting fear get in the way, and just keep one foot in front of the other. Show humility, love, your light, show up present every day, and have good people around you to help your dream come to fruition.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's right.
And that give
That's good.
back, right? That's
Mhm.
what you're
have to
helping
give
me
back.
reflect on, is that it's
Mhm.
because you all have been successful and continue to be successful. This is the financial piece. When we are financially successful, we know we can help more people.
That's right.
So we're looking for the ways to support the community and give back. And each of you have demonstrated that so beautifully.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tell us where we can get a hold of you and stay in touch so that we can be part of the book launch and we can order the book. Where will the book be available?
Well, it's going to start out being available on Amazon.
Perfect.
So my landing page will be available on Tuesday. So that would be vesseloflight.org.
And the reason for that title is, I think you've poked around it, but is there a specific story around
There is.
why you chose that?
There is. Earlier I said that I wallowed in self-pity. Poor me, going through a lot of stuff. And so this story came into my life and it changed the whole dynamic of my thought pattern and my perspective. So there was a potter walking along a barren road, and he found this ash pile with some trash and a broken vessel on it. And the potter saw some beauty in that vessel and said, I'm going to pick up all those broken pieces and I'm going to take that vessel back to my potter's wheel and I'm going to remake this vessel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what the potter did. And so when he was finished, he set the vessel up high for all to see. And the vessel was happy to be whole again. But the vessel was confused and asked the potter, why did you leave these cracks in me? And the potter said, so when I put my light inside of you, it'll shine out of the cracks and penetrate the darkness of others.
Mm.
And at that moment, I was totally released of those feelings of self-pity. And I realized that my life has meaning. And, I dealt with suicidal demons for many, many years. And I slept with a butcher knife under my pillow. And I said, if they come in my room one more time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take them out.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I was a strong believer, I still had that spirit of oppression over me. And so I was going to take a handful of my mom's Valiums and lay on my pillow, ask forgiveness, and I'd wake up in heaven and never be abused again. But what I heard when I'm sitting there with those pills in my hand was, Vadis, pray for a sound mind. And I was reminded of the scripture, for the Lord has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I began to weep and ask for a sound mind, and I didn't take those pills. And so I finally was able to break that curse of suicide, those demons of suicide, off of me. And one of my Vodicisms is that the dash between the dates of your life should say something spectacular about who you were. And I want my dash to say something wonderful about who I was. I need to leave a legacy of healing and love and hope, because I believe that's what my life is truly all about. And so I talk about that dash and a movement that I've started with a few people that we are trying to give back And DASH is an acronym for Display Acts of Selfless Humanity. Now, random acts of kindness is awesome. You remember RAC when it came out? Hey, buy the person a Starbucks that's standing in line behind you in Starbucks. But hey, let's kick it up a notch, okay? Let's think about that homeless person who's the homeless bell ringer, right? At Walmart or wherever. And they're living at the Salvation Army because that's where they have shelter, to have a warm bed and a hot meal. Well, why don't we buy that bell ringer, that homeless person, an expensive Starbucks coffee? Maybe they want one, right? Maybe they would enjoy that. So what I want to do is I want to implement that in everybody's lives, that thought, that change that perspective. Notice if somebody looks sad. I was at Walmart one day, and this guy was a cashier. He was probably around 21-ish, and I could tell he was really struggling. And people were being mean to him because he was messing up and he was dropping things and stuff. And when I got up to him, I said, hon, I don't know what you're going through, but take your time. Everything's okay. And he burst into tears and he said, thank you for that. He said, my mother passed away yesterday and she's on the East Coast and I didn't have the money to fly to her funeral and I had to work today. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. That is so painful. And so when he finished ringing me up, I said, do you mind if I give you a hug? He said, yeah, I really need one. And so I gave him a hug. Just a hug can be healing. So if we can be aware of people, life is about people, right? It's about people and giving back. I don't have a whole lot monetarily to give, but I can give hope. I can give a smile. I can give a hug.
And you hang around with Shasta long enough.
And I hang around with her.
You're going to have plenty of financial resources.
Because the more financial resources you have,
Yes.
the more you can sow into
sure.
people's lives and the more you can sow into that kingdom. And so I want to teach people to be aware of your surroundings and be that ray of hope and that ray of light in someone's life.
Yeah. I can see now that I've spent the hour with each of you why these were the particular people. I'm sure you had a bunch of people to choose from, and I think it was perfect for today.
Yes.
Really a pleasure to spend time with each of you. We have come to the top of the hour. I promised it would go super fast. And again, Shasta, for the folks that are interested in getting to know each of you more, you would probably be a great contact. We'll put everybody's contact information in the show notes, but Capital Stewardship, sorry, I just saw the website and it disappeared on me. Capitalstewardship.org. I was looking for the dot, whatever it was supposed to be. And then my eyes went to the Gmail again.
Thank you. Yes.
Wow. I feel very blessed to have had this conversation today. And one of the quotes, which I'm sure many of us are familiar with, is something I'd like to end with because I feel like it really resonates with how we've all landed here and the way we're serving today. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. That's really what each of you have been sharing.
You just gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. So
yes, that's right.
With that, thank you for sharing your morning with us today.
Thank you for having us on your
Absolutely.
show. We're blessed to be here.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Mac 6 Entrepreneurial Center in Tempe, Arizona. Some media leans left, some lean right, and we lean business. We'll see you next time.